M. Sufiyan Bey, Principal Zakir Hussain, College of Engineering and Technology, AMU. Professor Bey joined the Department of Electronics Engineering, Aligarh Muslim University as a member of the faculty. Professor Bey also visited the University of California as a BT Fellow from November 2005 to October 2006. Sir served as a professor at the Department of Computer Engineering at Jamia Millia Islamia, a Central University, New Delhi from March 2007 to January 2014. Professor Beg is the chairman at the Department of Computer Engineering at Aligarh Muslim University. He is also serving as the principal of Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology since August 2014. Professor Beg has published a book, 29 book chapters, and over 165 research papers on a wide range of topics in web mining and soft computing. Sir has also been an invited lecturer at many places in USA, UK, KSA, Pakistan, and India. We are honored to have his with us today to share her insight on the topic outcome-based education. So, welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure talking to the young teachers from all over the country. So let me share my slides and then we'll begin. I got a screen. Yeah, Sharini ma'am, is my slide visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, and is it moving also?
Yes, sir. It's moving.
Okay, fine. So dear participants, today we are going to talk about outcome-based education and how does it assure quality for us. So as has already been pointed out, I am the principal of the Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology at the Aligarh Muslim University. Before actually getting into the nuances of the outcome-based education, the first and the foremost question that comes to our mind is whether we can quantify quality. Because quantity and quality, these two terms seem contradictory to us. If we talk about quality, we shouldn't be talking about quantity, and if we're talking about quantity, we shouldn't be talking about quality. But that's not quite true. There is a statement that combines both quantity and quality. What you can't measure, you can't control, right? जो आप measure नहीं कर सकते, वो control नहीं कर सकते. For example, if you can't measure temperature, you won't be able to control temperature. If you can't measure speed, you won't be able to control speed. For example, you are driving on a highway. If you don't look at the speedometer, there is no way that you can find out the speed of the car. You do not know whether it is going at 100 kilometers per hour or 120 kilometers per hour or beyond, whether you have crossed the speed limit, whether you have to slow down or you have to speed up. So a speedometer is required in order to control speed. So if we can't measure speed, we won't be able to control speed either. In order to assert what I am saying, let me remind you of an accident that happened a few years back, but we have a lesson to learn from it. There was this Air France flight which crashed in the Atlantic Ocean while flying from South America to Paris. Everybody on board perished. A very tragic accident. But when people started investigating the cause of the crash, to their shock, they found out that the bones of the human remains were broken. When they dug them out from the depth of the ocean, they found out that their bones were broken. Something very surprising, because the aircraft is plunging in the ocean, everybody is dying by drowning. How can their bones be broken, and that too for everybody? So they went on investigating and they came to the conclusion that actually the speed sensor of the aircraft had gone bad. The plane oversped to the extent that it broke into two, and because of the air pressure, even at that height, the bones of the human beings were broken before they drowned in the ocean. Something very, very sad, very tragic, but we have a lesson to learn from it. If we can't measure speed, we won't be able to control speed either. So if this way we continue, we can say that if we are not able to measure quality, we won't be able to control quality. So we have to devise ways and means to measure quality so that we can control it. So the bottom line remains, assessing the attainment of quality is the key to quality control and enhancement. So we do need to assess the attainment of quality so that we can control quality. And obviously, when we say controlling quality, that means we want to enhance quality. Nobody wants to deteriorate the quality, so it means enhancement only. Now, what are the levels of quality in education? First and the foremost level is approval, where minimum things are in place. Building is there, library is there, teachers are employed, labs are there, you get the approval. For example, technical education, the approval is provided by All India Council for Technical Education. Next higher level is you start talking about quality. You must have heard about ISO, International Organization for Standardization. They do ISO certification not only for the goods, but also for the services. So they do ISO certification for educational services also. Now they start looking into the qualification of the teachers who are employed, the quality of the equipment that are available in the lab, the addition of the books that are there in the library, whether the classrooms are smart, having teaching aids or not. So they start talking about quality. Now, shall we stop at the level of monitoring the quality? No, there is an additional thing that we get if we go beyond and we go for accreditation. We don't just have quality check, we also have what is called mutual recognition. For example, my educational institution has got the ISO certification. A degree awarded by my educational institution may be accepted, may not be accepted by other sister institutions. They are not duty bound to accept the ISO certification. But if accreditation has been obtained, they are duty bound to recognize the degree awarded by an accredited institution. Why? Because accreditation comes under an accord, an agreement signed by several countries to the effect that we will mutually recognize the degrees accredited by the respective boards. है ना? तो उस accord, उस agreement की वजह से accreditation में power आती है. Let me explain you a finer point here. Try to pay a little more attention to what I'm going to say next. See, in India, no university can become a university unless passed by an act of law. I'll repeat. In India, no university can become a university unless passed by an act of law. Now, if it happens to be an act of the Indian Parliament, that becomes a central university. If it happens to be an act of the State Assembly, that becomes the state university. So now you know the difference between the central university and state university. Difference state university, central university में ये होगा कि उसका law कहाँ pass हुआ, उसका act कहाँ pass हुआ है. It's not about funding. ऐसा नहीं है कि फंडिंग सेंटर से आ रही है तो सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी, स्टेट से आ रही है तो स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटी. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं, बिकॉज देयर आर मेनी प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज which can be categorized as central or state. उनका तो कहीं से फंड नहीं आ रहा है. फिर सेंटर और स्टेट बनाने का क्या मतलब? Actually, the underlying factor is whether it is passed by an act of law in the parliament or in the state assembly. ठीक है, तो अब देखिए सबसे ऊपर तो वो एक्ट होगा, है ना। एक्ट के बाद होंगे स्टैट्यूट्स, फिर होंगे ऑर्डिनेंसेस और फिर होंगे रेगुलेशंस। तो एक्ट विल बी कंसाइज, पास इन दी लेजिस्लेटिव बॉडी, चाहे पार्लियामेंट या स्टेट असेंबली। फिर वो एक्ट पावर दे रहा होगा स्टैट्यूट्स को। एक्ट कहेगा दिस एक्शन मे बी टेकन बाय द वाइस चांसलर एज पर द पावर्स डिफाइंड इन द स्टैट्यूट्स। तो स्टैट्यूट में पावर आ गई, फिर स्टैट्यूट को फर्दर एलाबोरेट कर रहा होगा ऑर्डिनेंस, तो द पावर परकुलेट्स डाउन टू द ऑर्डिनेंस, फिर ऑर्डिनेंस पॉइंट करेगा रेगुलेशन को, सो द पावर इज परकुलेटिंग डाउन। एक्ट गेट्स इट्स पावर from the state assembly or the parliament, whatever the case may be, and it passes that power on to the statutes and ordinance and regulations. Now the vice chancellor draws his or her power from either the act or the statutes. फिर वाइस चांसलर ने किसी को प्रो वाइस चांसलर बनाया, तो प्रो वाइस चांसलर की पावर आई वाइस चांसलर से, हु इन टर्न गॉट हिज पावर फ्रॉम एक्ट एंड स्टैट्यूट्स। डीन्स बनाए, हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट्स बनाए और प्रॉक्टर बनाया, ऑल ऑफ देम द डिसीजंस टेकन बाय देम आर टेनेबल इन लॉ बिकॉज दे आर ड्रॉइंग पावर फ्रॉम द वाइस चांसलर हु इज ड्रॉइंग द पावर फ्रॉम एक्ट एंड स्टैट्यूट्स। ठीक है, बिल्कुल वही बात यहाँ पर है। Accreditation draws its power from the accord that has been signed by the signatory countries, agreement signed, है ना। अभी आगे इसको और elaborate करेंगे। In India, there are two types of accreditation, broadly speaking. One is NAC, which is an institute-wide accreditation. किसी इंस्टीट्यूट को NAC accreditation मिल गया, all the degrees awarded by that institution stand accredited. NBA is degree specific. If NBA accreditation is given to BTech in computer science, it stays with BTech in computer science. You can't stretch it to MTech in computer science, or you can't even stretch it to BTech in IT. जिस डिग्री के लिए accreditation मिला है, सिर्फ उसी डिग्री के लिए accreditation रहेगा। तो NBA is degree specific, while NAC is institute wide. Both have got their pros and cons. दोनों के अपने अपने advantages, disadvantages हैं। For example, NAC में एक accreditation ले लिया, सारी degrees accredit हो गई। NBA says, no, we will award accreditation to only the strong degrees. Let the weaker degrees not pull down the stronger degrees. ऐसा ना हो कि weak degrees थी तो उसकी वजह से किसी को भी नहीं मिला, पूरे इंस्टीट्यूट को नहीं मिला, है ना। तो दोनों के अपने pluses minuses हैं। Now let us look into the definition of accreditation. This is one of the definitions that I like the most. अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि definition तो unique होती है, why I'm saying one of the definitions. Let me remind you of the good old story that we heard in our childhood days, that a few blindfolded person were asked to touch an elephant and describe it. So the person who touched the trunk of the elephant, he said it's like a python. The person who touched the legs of the elephant, he said it's like a tree trunk. The person who touched the tummy of the elephant, he said it's like a wall. The person who touched the ears of the elephant, he said it's like a big hand fan. So the same animal being described differently by different people, because the animal is too large, too huge to be envisaged by a single outlook. बिल्कुल इसी तरह accreditation इतना vast term है that you may have different definitions for it. The definition that I am referring today here is the one that I like the most. So let me go for it. Formal recognition. Informal नहीं चलेगा. Things have to be formalized. The rules have to be set. Formal recognition of an educational program or institution, as the case may be. Program in the case of NBA and institution in the case of NAC. By an external agency. मैंने external agency को underline किया हुआ है. On the basis of impartial assessment. of the attainment of specific requirements against well-defined criteria. तो दोनों बातें अपनी अपनी जगह होना जरूरी है, एक्सटर्नल एजेंसी हो और इम्पार्शियल असेसमेंट. You cannot say that we will get impartial assessment done, but let us do it internally. No, because there is conflict of interest. है ना, जैसे मैं किसी सिलेक्शन बोर्ड में बैठा हूं और मैं ये कहूं कि मेरा भाई अपीयर हो रहा है, आई विल रिमेन इम्पार्शियल, अलाउ मी टू सिट इन द बोर्ड. नो, आई विल नॉट बी अलाउड बिकॉज देयर इज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. तो इसी तरह एक्सटर्नल एजेंसी का होना जरूरी है और इम्पार्शियल असेसमेंट भी होना जरूरी है. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक्सटर्नल एजेंसी हो और पार्शियल असेसमेंट कर ले. Impartial, what do I mean by impartial? See, there are two words that we as teachers or students use very frequently: subjective and objective. We have a very narrow perception of these two words. Whenever somebody says objective, immediately multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks, true, false, come to our mind. Subjective means essay type. ठीक है, गलत नहीं है, बट दैट्स अ वेरी नैरो परसेप्शन. ऑब्जेक्टिव का मतलब होता है विच द करेक्ट आंसर, करेक्ट रिस्पॉन्स डजंट वेरी फ्रॉम पर्सन टू पर्सन. जो एमसीक्यू सही है वो मिस्टर एक्स चेक करे, मिस वाई चेक करे, मिसेस जेड चेक करे, इट विल रिमेन करेक्ट. जो गलत है दैट विल रिमेन गलत, दैट विल रिमेन रॉन्ग, राइट. सब्जेक्टिविटी में क्या है? ऐसे इज रिटन, somebody might give 8.5 out of 10, another person may give the same essay as 9 out of 10, somebody may give just 8 out of 10. So that varies from person to person. तो हमारा जो असेसमेंट होना चाहिए वो ऑब्जेक्टिव हो, सब्जेक्टिव ना हो. दैट इज व्हाट इम्पार्शियलिटी मीन्स. ऐसा नहीं है कि टीम बदल गई तो स्कोर बदल गया. नहीं, लेट अस हैव सच रूल्स दैट थिंग्स रिमेन ऑब्जेक्टिव. तो दोनों बातें हों, एक्सटर्नल एजेंसी भी हो ताकि कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ना हो, और इम्पार्शियल हो ताकि सब्जेक्टिविटी ना हो. ऑफ द अटेनमेंट ऑफ स्पेसिफिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स अगेंस्ट वेल डिफाइंड क्राइटेरिया. देखिए, क्राइटेरिया हैज टू बी डिफाइंड बिफोर हैंड, अनएम्बिगुअसली. सब चीज क्लियर होनी चाहिए. यू हैव टू डिफाइन द रूल्स ऑफ द गेम बिफोर द गेम बिगिंस. You cannot change the goalpost after the game has already started. आपको everything has to be declared beforehand. So the criteria of accreditation has to be declared beforehand so that people prepare accordingly. हमारे साथ problem यही है. As teachers, we try to catch the student who is cheating in the exam. We don't try to avoid it. हम उसको पकड़ना चाहते हैं, बचाना नहीं चाहते हैं चीटिंग से. You know, a little bit experience and we can make out who is the student who is trying to use unfair means. So immediately we can go and stand near him so that he or she is not able to use any unfair means. हम क्या करते हैं, उसको करने देते हैं, फिर पकड़ते हैं उसको. तो हमने चीजों को डिफाइन नहीं किया. आप देखिए, सीसीटीवी जहां लगा रहता है उसके नीचे लिखा रहता है, यू आर अंडर सीसीटीवी सर्वेलेंस. व्हाई? बिकॉज यू वांट टू अवॉइड द थेफ्ट. हम लोग की प्रॉब्लम ये, आई वाज विजिटिंग वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स इन लंदन. So all of a sudden his car started beeping. I asked him, why is it beeping? He said, there is some police van nearby. I have a device in my car which alarms you that a police van is nearby. I asked him, is it legal? He said, yes, it is legal. So the purpose is to avoid the traffic violation, right? So he said it is legal. हाँ, वो डिवाइस लगाने के बाद और पता लगने के बाद कि पुलिस वैन है, हम फिर भी नहीं सतर्क हो रहे हैं, then I would be penalized. I once went to the airport to pick one of our relatives. He was an elderly person. So I wanted to drive the car as close to him as possible so that he doesn't have to walk long. So there was this policeman sitting. So I drove in front of him slowly so that if he has to stop me, he'll stop me. But he didn't stop me. When I picked up my elderly relative and I was driving back, he stopped me. कि आप वहां क्यों गए? तो मैंने कहा कहीं लिखा नहीं है ये नो एंट्री जोन है। कहेंगे वो नो एंट्री जोन है, आपने देखा नहीं मैं बैठा हुआ हूँ। तो मैंने कहा आपके बैठने से कैसे पता लगेगा, मैं तो आपके सामने धीरे धीरे गया, यू शुड हैव स्टॉप्ड मी। सो यू नो व्हाट ही सेड अगर उस वक्त मैं आपको रोक देता तो इस वक्त मैं आपको पकड़ता कैसे। सो ही वांटेड मी टू कमिट द मिस्टेक एंड देन ही वांटेड टू कैच मी। सो दैट शुड नॉट बी द अप्रोच। द क्राइटेरिया हैज टू बी वेल डिफाइंड। नो एंट्री जोन है तो उसको लिख दीजिए नो एंट्री जोन है, ये नहीं करना है तो आप बता दीजिए नहीं करना है। सो द डेफिनेशन स्टैंड्स formal recognition of an educational program or institution by an external agency on the basis of impartial assessment of the attainment of specific requirements against well-defined criteria. Talking about the accreditation in India, institutional accreditation by National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAC, which is an autonomous body established by the University Grants Commission in 1994. Talking about program specific, we have technical programs, National Board of Accreditation, diploma level to postgraduate level in engineering, management, architecture, pharmacy, hospitality, mass communication, and the list may go on. They may keep adding more and more subjects. Now, what is the significance of accreditation? At national level, it becomes easier for students and parents to select the institutions and program for admission. Easy. If it is accredited, go for it, because the degree will be accepted in all the signatory countries. If it is not accredited, better to avoid it, because the degree may be accepted or may not be accepted. They are not duty bound to accept. प्रतिबद्ध नहीं है वो डिग्री को एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए. Likewise, it helps employers in deciding about the institutions for recruitment of graduates. Accreditation है तो some basic quality check must have been done. It becomes easier for institutions to avail the benefits from regulatory bodies and funding agencies. It happened with us. We had all our BTech programs accredited by NBA, so we could get a hefty funding of 15 crores from the World Bank under the Technical Education Quality Improvement Program. Again, in their third phase, we could get another 7.7 crores, and their requirement was the degree has to be accredited. So we had it, so we got it. इसी तरह आपने सुना होगा autonomy. UGC gives grade 1 autonomy, grade 2 autonomy, grade 3 autonomy on the basis of the NAC score. So there are privileges for grade 1, lesser privileges for grade 2, even lesser privileges for grade 3. So you can always draw benefits from regulatory bodies and funding agencies if you have your institute or degree accredited. It becomes easier for institutions in deciding about transfer of students or exchange of students from other institutions. Very easy. There are two institutions, both of them are accredited. So they are at the same level. They can seamlessly exchange students for a semester or for a year or whatever. But if one institution is accredited, the other is not accredited, then you have to do all the degree equivalence exercise. कि उनका स्टैंडर्ड क्या है, क्वालिटी क्या है, क्या कोर्सेज पढ़ा रहे हैं, कौन टीचर्स पढ़ा. You have to do all that because they're not at the same level. So these are the benefits at the international level. Now coming national level. Now coming to international level, mobility of students for pursuing either higher studies and employment in other countries. The mobility for higher studies or employment to other countries becomes seamless. Let me elaborate this point in the next slide. This global mobility comes from multinational accords for mutual recognition of accrediting process and thereby recognizing the accreditation. For example, Washington Accord was signed in 1989 for engineering degree program, Sydney Accord in 2001 for engineering diploma polytechnic program, Dublin Accord in 2002 for engineering technician program, Seoul Accord in 2008 for professional engineers in IT, computing and IT related fields. So all these accreditations are drawing their power from the respective accord or the agreement signed. For example, talking about the Washington Accord, this is an accord signed among 6 countries to begin with: Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, UK, and US in the year 1989. What does it mean? If a degree is accredited by the Ireland Board of Accreditation, they have signed to the effect that the degree will be accepted in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK, United States. Likewise, if a degree is accredited by the New Zealand Board of Accreditation, that will necessarily have to be accepted in Australia, Canada, Ireland, UK, US. So that is where the accreditation process draws its power from. So the purpose was to mutually recognize and accept the qualifications accredited by signatories. The accord at present has 15 full signatories and 5 provisional signatories. The list may keep going up or down. आप सोच रहे होंगे अब तो समझ में आ रहा है डाउन कैसे होगी, लिस्ट डाउन कैसे हो जाएगी. Let me give you a hypothetical example. Suppose Ukraine is a signatory to such an accreditation accord. The war breaks out there. Ukraine doesn't want to accept students from other places, so they can withdraw from the accord. कि भाई हम withdraw कर रहे हैं, अब हम ना आपकी डिग्री मानेंगे और ना आप ड्यूटी बाउंड है हमारी डिग्री मानने के लिए. So this way the list may decrease also in some rare cases. Members of Washington Accord have outcome based accreditation. देखिए आउटकम बेस्ड एजुकेशन को पावर कहां से मिल रही है? वॉशिंगटन अकॉर्ड से मिल रही है. So that is why it becomes imperative that we know about outcome based education. Because Washington Accord, they have the outcome based. Even NAC is talking about outcome based education now. So these are some of the signatories. The list may go on. India has also been added up. Now, what are the accreditation models? देखिए एक होता है मिनिमल मॉडल. It does not encourage continuous improvement. आज की डेट में आपके पास क्या फैसिलिटीज हैं, you get the accreditation or you do not get it accordingly. We are not futuristic. That is the problem with the developing countries. Suppose I have to construct a bridge. What I'll do is I'll see the traffic data today. By the time the bridge gets completed, the traffic has already exceeded the design. In the developed countries, on the other hand, what they do is they extrapolate the traffic data to next 15 years. कि आज से 15 साल बाद इस ब्रिज पर कितना ट्रैफिक एक्सपेक्टेड है. They design the bridge accordingly, and after 15 years, they sit down again to evaluate कि ट्रैफिक उस लेवल तक पहुंच गया तो हमने फोरकास्ट किया था या नहीं, और नहीं पहुंचा, okay, another 5 years we'll evaluate again after 5 years. और पहुंच गया है तो better to bring it down and design and construct a new bridge with the extrapolated data of next 15-20 years, as the case may be. The minimal model does not encourage continuous improvement. It talks about the data as of today. फिर नेक्स्ट लेवल लोगों ने बात की इनपुट आउटपुट मॉडल कि भाई इनपुट देख लो यानी क्वालिटी ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स बीइंग एडमिटेड, एंड आउटपुट मींस द क्वालिटी ऑफ ग्रेजुएट्स इमर्जिंग. सो दैट वाज टर्म्ड एज द इनपुट आउटपुट मॉडल ऑफ एक्टिवेशन. फिर आया आउटकम मॉडल. व्हाई? बिकॉज सपोज देयर इज अ फार्मर. I give him the most fertile piece of land, the best seeds, the best fertilizers, ample amount of water, but the crop is not up to the mark. That means there's something fundamentally wrong. Things are not gelling well. So what ultimately matters for the farmer? It is the yield or the crop that ultimately, okay, for reasonably good yield, you have to have good seeds, good water, good amount of water, good fertilizers, good land. I agree. But ultimately हमें उसकी पैदावार देखनी पड़ेगी, है ना? तो बिल्कुल इसी तरह आउटकम मॉडल और आउटकम बेस्ड एजुकेशन में विल लुक एट द क्वालिटी ऑफ ग्रेजुएट्स इमर्जिंग. If the quality of graduates is satisfactory, everything falls in place. In order to have a good quality of graduates, you have to have reasonably good quality of students admitted. So why evaluate the quality of admitted students separately? Just look at the quality of graduates, quality of output. That is more important for the people. Now, what is outcome-based education? Starting with a clear picture of what is important for students to be able to do, then organizing the curriculum, delivery, and assessment to make sure learning happens. You set the target first, you set the goal first, then you take measures to achieve that target. कोई athlete है, high jump करनी है, so he or she would set the bar first and then assert to cross that bar. Suppose there is a weightlifter, he'll set the weights first and then exerts to lift that weight. If he lifts, he adds more weight to it, then tries to lift again, he goes on doing it. So you set the goal first, try to achieve that target. If you are able to achieve, then raise the bar. है ना? बिल्कुल इसी तरह. अच्छा, आप सोच रहे होंगे the examples I'm giving is from athletics, sports, weightlifting, high jump, and I'm talking about outcome-based education. So let me give you an example from educational realm as well. Any good book, you pick it up. In the beginning of every chapter, the author will tell you that these are the points you can expect to learn from this chapter. क्या फायदा होता है उसका? You are extra cautious while reading that chapter. Whenever you come across any of those points that you are forewarned that you will have to learn, you get extra cautious. फिर chapter के खत्म पर, in the summary, the author again lists, these are the things that you have learned. Now you evaluate whether you've actually learned all those points or not. In case you haven't, you will start all over again. आप फिर से chapter पढ़ेंगे, देखेंगे क्या expectations है इस chapter की, फिर chapter पढ़ेंगे, फिर evaluate करेंगे. So likewise, you have to set the goal for the outcome in the beginning. And then you take steps. You assert by having a good curriculum, by having good delivery, and carrying out good assessment, so that the learning happens in that direction. Pictorially, you can show it like this. Outcome-based education. What the students should be able to do. Then outcome-based curriculum and outcome-based learning and teaching to make a student achieve that outcome. And in the end, you have to assess. How to measure what the students have achieved. Because if you can't measure, you won't be able to control it. So set the goal first, try to achieve that goal, achieve that target, and then evaluate whether you have achieved the target or not. So this is outcome-based education. अब देखिए जो next figure है, this is a very important figure. There is some disturbance. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Admin, are you there? Can you mute this person? Whosoever is creating this disturbance, please mute him. Hello, admin, are you there? Yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay. देखिए ये बहुत important figure है. This is the pyramid of outcome-based education. You have the vision at the top. You have mission to achieve that vision. Then you have program educational objectives to reach that mission. Then you have program outcomes to reach the program educational objectives. And these program outcomes are aligned with graduate attributes. मैं सारी चीजें समझाऊंगा एक एक करके. अभी just have a look at this pyramid. Then you have course outcomes to reach the program outcome. The design of this system goes from top to bottom. You have to set the vision first. Accordingly, you have to set the mission. Accordingly, you have to have PEOs and then POs and then COs. But the assessment goes from bottom to up. You have to evaluate the course outcomes first, then the program outcomes, then PEOs, then mission, then vision. ठीक है, अब एक एक लेके इनको समझाएंगे, है ना। देखिए विजन मिशन जो है, दीज आर इंस्टीट्यूशनल लेवल आउटकम्स, है ना। PEOs and POs are program level और COs are CO level, course level, है ना। Program outcomes are those qualities which the student should have at the time of graduation. इसी वजह से वो graduate attribute से aligned है. Graduate attributes mean the qualities that the graduate of any discipline should have at the time of graduation. Okay, so let us take them one by one. First, what is vision and mission? What is the difference? In order to understand vision, let me tell you a story. When we were students, there was this professor of mechanical engineering who had an old Fiat car. Those were the times when only two cars were here, Fiat or Ambassador. So he had an old Fiat car. At the back of it was a sticker which read, "When I grow up, I want to be a Rolls Royce." Sounds funny. पुरानी Fiat कार है, उसके पीछे स्टिकर लगा हुआ है, "When I grow up, I want to be a Rolls Royce." But that is a very good example of the vision. That was the vision of that car. What do you want to become when you grow up? How do you want your institution to grow? That is vision. Mission, on the other hand, are the shorter goals to achieve vision. For example, some of you, if you have studied computer science and operating system, you must have come across the terms long-term scheduling and short-term scheduling. Even if you are not a student of computer science, from the very name you can make out. Long-term scheduling is the vision and short-term scheduling is the mission. For example, there is a player who wants to become the #1 player in the whole world. That is his or her vision, to become the #1 player in the whole world. But in order to achieve that vision, he'll have to set shorter statements. In order to achieve my vision, I have to decide how many runs I'm going to score in this series, how many wickets I'm going to take, how many catches I'm going to hold. So match by match, series by series, as he keeps on realizing his mission, he will keep inching towards his vision. A day would come when he will actually become the #1 player because he had been meeting the mission statements all through his playing career. तो ये फर्क है विजन मिशन में. विजन इज द लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग एंड मिशन आर द शॉर्टर स्टेटमेंट्स टू अचीव दैट विजन. नहीं आ रही? चलिए, you can go. Now, how do you get this vision and mission? What is the process? What is the process of articulation of vision and mission? देखिए, प्रोसेस की क्यों जरूरत है. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप सोएंगे रात में और आपको ड्रीम में विजन मिशन दिख जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होगा. अच्छा हो भी जाए, आपको ड्रीम में दिख भी जाए, डोंट टेक इट एज योर विजन मिशन, because you haven't got it the hard way, so you will not assert to realize that vision mission. Vision mission, the best one is the vision mission that you have realized the proper way, the hard way. तो इसलिए प्रोसेस फॉलो करना जरूरी है. जो चीज फ्री में मिल जाती है ना, उसकी फिर वैल्यू नहीं रहती है. तो इसको फ्री में विजन मिशन ड्रीम में मिल गया तो डोंट अडॉप्ट इट, फॉलो द प्रोसेस. अब देखिए प्रोसेस में क्या है कि इंस्टीट्यूट विजन मिशन से अलाइन करके डिपार्टमेंट विजन मिशन बनाना है. नाउ टू क्वेश्चंस अराइज हियर. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन यू मे आस्क मी कि व्हाई आर यू टेलिंग अस डिपार्टमेंट मिशन विजन, why not institute vision mission? Yes, a day would come when you will be realizing the or articulating the institute, but right now you are all young faculty members. You should be looking at the department vision mission. जब आप experienced हो जाएंगे, principal बनेंगे, directors बनेंगे, vice chancellors बनेंगे, then you will have to look at the institute vision mission. ठीक है. In that case, institute vision mission किससे align किया जाएगा? That will have to be aligned by the vision and mission of the founder. अगर कोई पर्सन है या ट्रस्ट है या बॉडी है, whosoever has founded that institute, उसके विजन मिशन से अलाइन करके आपको इंस्टीट्यूट विजन मिशन बनाना होगा. बट द अलाइनमेंट हैज टू बी देयर. Why the alignment is required? Let me remind you of the joke that all of you must have heard. There were these 4 friends. They decided to pool up money and buy a car to run as a taxi. उन्होंने कार खरीदी to run as a taxi. First day, nobody came to hire their car. When people started asking, actually all 4 of them kept sitting in the car the whole day themselves. So nobody saw the car unoccupied, so nobody hired it. तो उनको बताया गया, भाई तुम तो गाड़ी से बाहर निकलो, गाड़ी खाली दिखेगी तब तो कोई हायर करेगा. So next day they did come out of the car, but the car did not move. The whole day they kept on pushing to start the car, but the car did not move. भाई क्या हुआ, क्यों नहीं मूव कर रही? पता ये लगा कि उन 4 में से 2 of them were pushing it from front to back and 2 were pushing from back to front. The whole day they kept on pushing, the car did not move even an inch. हाँ, अगर चारों अलाइन होते, एक डायरेक्शन में पुश कर रहे होते, तो कार मूव करती. They were cancelling out the force of each other. तो इसी तरह इंस्टीट्यूट विजन मिशन जिधर ले जाना चाह रहा हो, डिपार्टमेंट विजन शुड आल्सो गो इन द सेम डायरेक्शन. अब एक तो जा रहा है नॉर्थ और दूसरा जा रहा है समवेयर हियर, है ना? तो ऑब्वियसली द रिजल्टेंट विल बी समवेयर एल्स. सो अलाइनमेंट हैज टू बी देयर. इनफैक्ट अलाइनमेंट इस पूरी फिगर में होनी चाहिए. विजन, मिशन, पीईओस, पीओ, सीओस, ऑल ऑफ देम हैव टू बी अलाइन्ड फ्रॉम टॉप टू बॉटम. ठीक है, अच्छा. तो अब ये अलाइनमेंट के बाद क्या करना है? You do the consultation process. Ask the faculty, industry, management, data on future, professional bodies, parents. Take their views. Make the first draft of vision mission. Then review it. Go back to all these stakeholders. They will suggest some changes. If those changes are pretty big, then you come up with the version 2.0. If the review is leading you to small changes, then make it version 1.1. तो इस तरह से एक इटरेशन, 2 इटरेशन लेते हुए finally you will come up with the vision and mission of the department or the institute as the case may be. इंस्टीट्यूट में भी यही प्रोसीजर फॉलो किया जाएगा, बस अलाइन करना होगा फाउंडर के विजन मिशन से. अब मैं एग्जाम्पल दे दूं, मैं एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूं. आई एम नॉट आस्किंग यू टू अडॉप्ट द विजन मिशन ऑफ माय कॉलेज फॉर योर कॉलेज और फॉर योर डिपार्टमेंट. दिस इज जस्ट द एग्जाम्पल. सिंस आई एम द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज, आई हैड टू set up the vision mission of the institute. That is why, in line with the vision of the founder, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, the Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology has always stood for peaceful coexistence, academic excellence and scientific temper. तो ये विजन था फाउंडर का. तो इससे हमने अलाइन किया अपने कॉलेज के विजन को, टू बिकम एन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एक्सीलेंस, है ना. ये एकेडमिक एक्सीलेंस हम यहां से लाए, इन साइंटिफिक यहां से लिया, एंड सिंस वी आर एन इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज सो वी एडेड टेक्निकल एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च with standards at par with national institutes of repute, and to serve as quality human resource provider to the society and industry. ये हमने peaceful coexistence से लिया कि भाई we have to be serving the society in the positive way, in the constructive way. तो ये हमारा विजन बना कॉलेज का आफ्टर फॉलोइंग दिस प्रोसेस. नाउ इन ऑर्डर टू अचीव दैट विजन वी हैव दिस मिशन स्टेटमेंट. These mission statements, as we keep meeting, will keep moving towards the vision. To offer state-of-the-art UG, PG doctoral programs, to make policies and atmosphere to attract and retain best faculty, to create an ambience in which new ideas and cutting-edge research flourish through effective curriculum and infrastructure so as to produce the leaders and innovators of tomorrow. to produce ethically strong and morally elevated human resource to serve mankind, to undertake collaborative projects and consultancy for long-term interaction with the academia and industry, and to be among top 10 engineering institutes of India. As we will keep achieving these mission statements, we will keep moving closer and closer to the vision. तो ये दो पार्ट्स हमारे pyramid के हो गए, है ना? ऊपर विजन मिशन थे, वो हो गए. Now let us go to the next two, PEOs and POs. PEOs are those qualities which the experienced graduates would have after 4-5 years down the timeline of graduation. Whereas POs are the qualities that the graduates should have at the time of graduation. That is why this is aligned with graduate attributes. Graduate attributes, as I said just a little while ago, are those qualities that the graduate of any discipline should have at the time of graduation. जब आप उसको अपने प्रोग्राम के लिए अडॉप्ट कर लेंगे, वो PO बन जाएगा. तो PO is at the time of graduation and PEO are the qualities 4-5 years after graduation. देखिए, एक स्टूडेंट हमारे से ग्रेजुएट किया, we haven't taught him how to be a manager, we haven't taught him how to be an entrepreneur, we haven't taught him how to be a businessman, we haven't taught him how to be a teacher. How did he or she self-developed 4-5 years after graduation? वो कैसा इंजीनियर बना, कैसा मैनेजर बना, कैसा एंटरप्रेन्योर बना, कैसा टीचर बना, वो 4-5 साल बाद पता लगेगा. टेक एन एग्जांपल. सपोज देयर इज अ फ्रूट, फॉर एग्जांपल मैंगोस, है ना? मैंगो इज राइप, PO. मैंगो इज राइप, दैट मींस प्रोग्राम आउटकम अचीव्ड. अब ये मैंगो जाएगा मार्केट में, लोग खरीदेंगे. देन पीपल विल जज एंड सी how does it taste, how does it smell, how does it appear. ये PEOs होंगे, है ना? तो राइप हो जाना इस PO, बट मार्केट में वो कैसा अप्रिशिएट हो रहा है, दैट इज PEO, है ना? अब देखिए, व्हाट इज द डिफाइनिंग प्रोसेस ऑफ PEOs. इंस्टीट्यूट विजन मिशन से अलाइन करके हमने डिपार्टमेंट विजन मिशन बनाया था. डिपार्टमेंट विजन मिशन से अलाइन करके अब हम PEO बनाएंगे, प्रोग्राम एजुकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. फॉर दैट वी विल हैव कंसल्टेशन प्रोसेस फ्रॉम फैकल्टी, स्टूडेंट, डेटा ऑन फ्यूचर, alumni, industry, professional bodies or graduate attributes. All their views will be collected by the program coordinator. The views will be summarized by the program assessment committee. And finally, PEOs will be accepted by the department advisory board. And if there is a need, there will be a review. Version 1.0, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 3.0, जितने iterations की जरूरत पड़े वो लेते रहिए. और finally, it will be approved by the department advisory board. Now, finally does not mean that PEO has to be carved in stone. नहीं, उसकी एक्सपायरी डेट तय की जाएगी, कितने दिन तक ये PEO वैलिड रहेगा, उसके बाद हम इसमें रिविजिट करेंगे. वो कैसे पता लगेगा? हमने डेटा ऑन फ्यूचर कितने दिन का लिया हुआ है, whether I've taken data on future for 10 years or 15 years. So after that expiry period, we will sit again and revisit it. We may want to continue with the same PEO, that is a different thing, or we may make some minor changes, or we may make some major changes or change the PEO altogether. वो हम 10 साल या 15 साल जो भी हमारी एक्सपायरी है, उसके बाद हम उसको इवैल्यूएट कर रहे होंगे, रिविजिट कर रहे होंगे, है ना? So this is the defining process of PEOs. अब POs को समझने से पहले हमको ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट समझने पड़ेंगे, because if you remember, these graduate attributes are the one which are aligning. ये जो आपके ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट्स है ना, वो अलाइन कर रहे हैं आपके PO को, जैसा उस pyramid में दिखाया था. So graduate attributes are those qualities that the graduate of any discipline should have at the time of graduation. हमने इंजीनियरिंग लिखा हुआ है because I am from an engineering college. आप इसको अपने सब्जेक्ट यहाँ ऐड कर लीजिए कि उस सब्जेक्ट की नॉलेज होना जरूरी है, प्रॉब्लम एनालिसिस करना आना जरूरी है, डिजाइन एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑफ सॉल्यूशंस, इन्वेस्टिगेशन ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम्स। ये नहीं कि हमारा ग्रेजुएट जो है वो इजियर प्रॉब्लम्स तो सॉल्व कर लेता है, कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम पे घबरा जाता है, ऐसा ना हो, है ना। Modern tool usage, very important, modern tool usage, because the tools will keep changing. For example, if you are asked to dig the field today, आज जमीन खोदने को कहा गया और हम फावड़ा खुरपी लेके आ रहे हैं, तो जिस आदमी के पास मॉडर्न डिगिंग टूल होगा वो हमसे ज्यादा काम कर ले जाएगा, he'll be more efficient. So it is always advisable to adopt the modern tools. When we were students of engineering, we had a vice chancellor at our university. At that point of time, he used to say कि एक जमाना था अगर किसी को इंग्लिश नहीं आती थी तो he was supposed to be an illiterate person. Now is the time. He used to say then, now is the time that if somebody doesn't know computers, he will be treated as illiterate. अब आज के जमाने में हम उन्हीं की बात को आगे बढ़ाते हुए कह सकते हैं कि if somebody doesn't know artificial intelligence, he might be treated as illiterate. So tools are changing. AI is a tool, right, which you can use not only in computer science but also in social science, in arts, in law. People are using it. In medicine, people are using AI tools. हम नहीं यूज करेंगे तो हम पीछे रह जाएंगे. And also mind it that AI is the beginning, not the end. It's not the end in itself. It is the means to the end. AI. चैट जीपीटी से आपने जो ऐसे लिया वही सबमिट नहीं करना है, वो आपका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट हुआ. फिर आप उसमें नेचुरल इंटेलिजेंस लगाइए और उसको रिफाइन कीजिए, सो दैट में गिव यू अ गुड स्टार्ट, है ना. मॉडर्न टूल यूसेज में गिव यू अ गुड स्टार्ट. फिर नेक्स्ट होता है इंजीनियर एंड सोसाइटी. Let me put a question before you. Have you ever wondered why Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley? My answer to this question is Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley because Stanford University and University of California at Berkeley are there. These two giant universities had developed an ecosystem around them. Their graduates created startups. Those startups became success stories. They started employing more graduates in these universities. They started funding the projects of these universities. They even started hiring the faculty members of these universities as consultants in their industry. तो पूरा एक सिस्टम बना लिया. In our country, we have very good institutes, IITs, IIMs, central universities, AIMS, NITs. We have very good institutes. But outside the four walls of that institution, a rickshaw puller or a tea seller or a hawker just doesn't know what this IIT, IIM is all about. So the benefits are not percolating down to society. That is our problem. So we as an educated person is duty bound to serve society. ये हमें अपने ग्रेजुएट्स के अंदर पैदा करना पड़ेगा. At the time of graduation, they have to be sensitive to societal needs. फिर next है environment and sustainability. I have no hesitation in admitting that we engineers are the biggest culprit of destroying the environment because we overdo things out of our enthusiasm. When we were young, polythene came into market. We were overjoyed. अरे wonder material आ गया साहब. इतना lightweight है, thin है, flexible है. You can carry water, waterproof है. Insulator है, insulator of heat and electricity. We overproduce plastics, polythene, and now we are crying hoax. वो decay नहीं हो रही, पूरे hazards बन रहे हैं, oceans खराब हो रहे हैं, हमारे forests खराब हो रहे हैं, living beings are endangered. I read somewhere that we learn from history that we do not learn from history. We learn from history that we do not learn from history. हमने अपना सबक नहीं सीखा. We haven't learned our lessons. जो गलती हमने की थी पॉलिथीन बनाते वक्त वो गलती हम आज भी कर रहे हैं. Everybody is talking about green energy, solar energy. We are overproducing solar panels. And we are not thinking that after 20, 25 years, when we will be discarding all these solar panels, where will they go? So we are not taking our lessons yet. So as an educated person, we have to be sensitive to environment and sustainability. फिर ethics, आप एक इंजीनियर में से ethics निकाल दीजिए, पूरा देश बेच खाएगा वो. Individual and teamwork, very important. I should be able to do the job alone, and I should be able to do the job in a team. A collaborative effort. In fact, there is one full lecture of collaboration delivered by me. It may be somewhere on the YouTube. आप कभी देखना चाहें वहां देखिए. You know what is the first lesson in collaboration we were taught? Remember that problem in maths given in schools कि एक आदमी ये काम 5 दिन में करता है तो 6 आदमी ये काम कितने दिन में करेंगे. ये क्या? कोलैबोरेशन. फर्स्ट लेसन इन कोलैबोरेशन. You know, a worthy person is the one who can work alone and who can work as a team. सिंगल्स भी अच्छा खेले और डबल्स भी अच्छा खेले, टीम स्पोर्ट भी अच्छा खेले और इंडिविजुअल स्पोर्ट भी अच्छा खेले. तो इंडिविजुअल एंड टीम वर्क बोथ शुड बी देयर. Communication is very important. See, the modern system of medicine and our traditional system of medicine, the only difference is communication. Modern system of medicine, they kept on communicating. कितना एडवांस कर गए कि अब हार्ट ट्रांसप्लांट की बात होने लगी, एनिमल का हार्ट लगा दिया ह्यूमन बीइंग्स में. With our traditional systems of medicine, we had some very good Veds or Hakims, but they didn't teach even to their children. तो जो उनकी knowledge थी, they took it along with them to their graves or to the Shamshan Ghat. The next person had to start from scratch. So they kept on reinventing the wheel. They did not progress. So the only difference between modern system of medicine and traditional system of medicine is the communication or the lack of it. फिर lifelong learning. वो ये कहे मैंने बीटेक कर लिया, काम खत्म, कहा जाएगा नहीं भाई काम तो अब शुरू होगा. Somebody says that I have completed MBBS, that's it, my job is done. No, it is going to start now. We have to keep learning lifelong. With project management and finance, everything runs on money. So we have to look into the financial aspect. It will not be financially viable. It won't last. Management is very important. कोई ब्रिज हम बना रहे हैं, डैम बना रहे हैं, so it has to be completed before the onset of rainfall. Otherwise, the flood will come and the bridge will be washed away. So project management and finance is very important. तो ये सारे graduate attributes हैं, है ना, which the graduate of any discipline should have at the time of graduation. ये उसी का description I am skipping because I've explained already. तो अब program outcomes. Program outcomes are narrower statements. वही pyramid मैं आपको याद दिला दूं. विजन हो गया, मिशन हो गया, PEO हो गया. अब हम बात कर रहे हैं PO की. Program outcomes are narrower statements that describe what students are expected to know and be able to do by the time of graduation. What are the guidelines? Program outcomes basically describe knowledge, skills, and behavior of students as they progress through the program as well as by the time of graduation. They should not be too broad. They must align with graduate attributes. They must reflect all the graduate attributes. कुछ छोड़ना नहीं है कि ये नहीं भाई सोसाइटी छोड़ दो या environment छोड़ दो या ethics छोड़ दो. No, you don't have to leave out anything. All of them have to be covered. They should contribute to achieve PEOs. Upward compatibility होनी चाहिए. POs should lead to PEOs. PEOs should lead to mission. That should lead to vision, right? Process is very similar to that of PEO. Institute and department vision mission से align करके you have designed the program educational objectives. Now with the alignment of this, we have to define the POs. Graduate attributes, professional bodies, the consultation process with faculty, student, data on future, alumni, industry. Their views are collected by program coordinator, summarized by program assessment committee, and accepted or reviewed till final acceptance by department advisory board. Again, not to be carved in stone, expiry date has to be decided, and after that expiry, we'll be sitting again to revisit, review, or continue, whatever the case may be. तो ये आपका एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम चाहिए आपको, प्रोग्राम कोऑर्डिनेटर, प्रोग्राम असेसमेंट कमिटी और प्रोग्राम डिपार्टमेंट एडवाइजरी बोर्ड, इन ऑर्डर टू सेट अप योर पीओस। एक नई टर्म बनी है पीएसओ। व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन पीओ एंड पीएसओ? देखिए, पीओ और जीए का तो 1-to-1 अलाइनमेंट है, 12 GAs, so 12 POs, so that all of them are covered. Program specific outcomes, on the other hand, may be lesser in number and they are very specific to a program, focused. जैसे मैं एक एग्जाम्पल दूं, टेक इट जस्ट एन एग्जाम्पल, डोंट टेक इट एज अ पॉलिटिकल स्टेटमेंट। 3 यूनिवर्सिटीज ले लीजिए, अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी, बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी, जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी। MA in history is being taught, suppose, in all these 3 universities. So the POs of MA in history will be same across all 3 universities, but their PSO may be different. AMU may say that our PSO is medieval history. BHU may say our PSO is ancient history. JNU may say our PSO is modern history. हिस्ट्री के जो 3 फेजेस हैं, किसमें फोकस ज्यादा है? PSO may accordingly be designed, but their PO will remain same across the universities. ऐसे का प्रोग्राम है BSc in chemistry, POs will be same across the universities and institutions, but their PSO may be different. Somewhere the PSO may be organic chemistry, at other places it may be inorganic chemistry, somewhere it may be physical chemistry, and so on. So PSOs may be lesser in number, not necessarily equal to the number of graduate attributes. Lesser in number and specific to the program as per the focus of that department or institution. फिर लास्ट pyramid का last scores outcomes. The qualities that the student should have at the time of passing each course of the program. It has to be student focused, not professor focused, which means learning oriented, not coverage oriented. ये नहीं रखना है कि हम क्या पढ़ा सकते हैं, देखना ये कि बच्चे को क्या पढ़ना चाहिए, उसके हिसाब से COs डिफाइन होंगे. Alignment between course, program and institutional levels. I've been saying again and again कि ऊपर से नीचे तक alignment होना चाहिए, so that the things keep moving in the same direction. Focus on ability central to the discipline, है ना? जैसे आसान सा तरीका मैं बताता हूं, I'm telling you an easy way out. Suppose we have our syllabus unit wise, 4 units हैं, तो हर यूनिट का जो सेंट्रल आइडिया है वो उस यूनिट का CO बना दीजिए. 4 units 4 COs, 5 units 5 COs. So idea which is central to the discipline may be taken as the CO. Focus on aspects of learning that will endure. Let me tell you a very interesting anecdote. When I was doing PhD at IIT Delhi, there was this diplomat, foreign diplomat, who was visiting the IIT Delhi. So he asked one of the professors of computer science, which programming language do you teach your students? The answer to this query from the professor of computer science of IIT Delhi was an eye-opener for me. That professor said, we don't teach them language, we teach them programming. This is the aspect of learning that will endure. Language तो बदलती रहेगी, कभी बेसिक थी, फिर फोर्ट्रैन आ गई, पैस्कल आ गई, कोबोल थी, C++, C#, जावा, पाइथन, कल को कोई और लैंग्वेज होगी. Language सिखाई, language खत्म, that student will go out of market. You tell him how to program, he can always pick up the syntax of the new language. Somebody who is a good communicator may communicate in any language. It is just that he has to pick up that language. If he doesn't know how to communicate effectively, he may not be able to communicate effectively even in his mother tongue. So aspects of learning that will endure the test of time. उसको सुपरफिशियल नॉलेज मत दीजिए कि वो चीज खत्म हुई तो वो खत्म हो गया. उसको बेसिक्स दीजिए, फाउंडेशन दीजिए, कॉन्सेप्ट्स दीजिए. दे शुड बी लिमिटेड टू मैनेजेबल नंबर, है ना? मैनेजेबल नंबर, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं हो जाए कि मैनेज नहीं हो पा रहे. मैंने बताया 5 यूनिट 5 CO, 4 यूनिट 4 CO, दैट इज अ रीजनेबल नंबर. specific enough to be measurable. बहुत important है, because if we can't measure we won't be able to control. तो बहुत वेग नहीं रखना है, specific enough to be measurable. तो ये सारे पार्ट्स कवर हो गए. अब थोड़ा सा ब्लूम्स टेक्सोनॉमी की बात करनी पड़ेगी. लर्निंग लेवल्स, बेंजामिन ब्लूम थे एक साहब. लेट मी गो टू हिज टेक्सोनॉमी. द फर्स्ट लर्निंग लेवल इज नॉलेज. उससे ऊपर होता है कॉम्प्रिहेंशन. नॉलेज जानना, कॉम्प्रिहेंशन समझना, एप्लीकेशन अप्लाई करना, है ना. एग्जाम्पल दूं, दुनिया गोल है, हमने रट लिया दुनिया गोल है, दुनिया गोल है, दुनिया, नॉलेज आ गई. What does that actually mean? We have to comprehend, we have to understand. Is it circular? Is it elliptical? Is it oval? Is it flattened on the poles? What do I mean when I say duniya goal hai? So knowledge, not just memorization, but understanding part of it. And then we should be able to apply. दुनिया गोल है, रोटेट करती है, दिन रात बदलते हैं, रिवॉल्व करती है, सीजन्स बदलते हैं. The application part. फिर उससे ऊपर का लर्निंग लेवल होता है एनालिसिस एंड सिंथेसिस. व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू? लेट मी ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन इन वेरी सिंपल टर्म्स. सपोज देयर इज अ सिस्टम. कोई सिस्टम हो सकता है. इट मे बी अ कंप्यूटर सिस्टम, एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिस्टम, अ मैकेनिकल सिस्टम, अ पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम, सोशल सिस्टम, व्हाटएवर. उसका कुछ इनपुट होगा, कुछ आउटपुट होगा. If you know the input, you know the system, you have to find out the output, that is analysis. If you know the input, you know the output, you have to find out the system, that is synthesis. So synthesis is more challenging. The challenge of learning is going up. सबसे आसान knowledge, उससे मुश्किल comprehension, then more complicated is application, then analysis, and then synthesis. फिर on top of it is evaluation. ठीक है, सबसे ऊपर evaluation है. तो these are the learning levels, taxonomy levels. इसको लोगों ने revisit किया Anderson and Karatwal in 2001. देखिए, to remember, ये तो वही हो गई knowledge, to understand, comprehension, to apply. Analysis, synthesis को उन्होंने एक में मिला दिया. Similar है तो एक में उन्होंने merge कर दिया. To evaluate, और फिर एक नया उन्होंने add किया, to create. Invention, innovation, discovery, they all come under create. What is the difference between invention and innovation? Suppose there are 2 points, है ना. एक point A है और एक point B है. A से B तक जाने का रास्ता पता नहीं था. We didn't know the route from A to B. Somebody found out the route for the first time. That is invention. रास्ता तो था, somebody came up with a better route. That is innovation. है ना. You didn't know the way, you found out, that is invention. You knew the way, but you came up with a better way, that is innovation. With discovery, what is the difference between invention and discovery? Let me tell you a joke. A child asked his father, "Dad, what is the difference between invention and discovery?" So the dad said, "Son, look, it is like this. I discovered your mom and then we invented you. I discovered your mom and then we invented you. Something which is already existing, you find it out, that is discovery. Antarctica discover हुआ, invent नहीं हुआ. It was already there. Somebody discovered. Columbus discovered America. Right? So discovery, invention, innovation, all of them, they come under create. अब इसमें देखिए analysis, synthesis and evaluation, or for that matter creation. They're all higher order thinking skills. ये नीचे वाली तो तीनों हर स्टूडेंट में आनी चाहिए. ये सिर्फ ब्राइट स्टूडेंट्स में आएंगी. अगर आप यहाँ पर इसको क्रिएट भी ऐड कर दें 7th लेवल, या इन दोनों को मर्ज कर दें और फिर वो 6th लेवल रखें, ये हो गया 4, ये हो गया 5 और ये हो गया 6, है ना. ऐसे तब भी these are higher order thinking skills: analysis, synthesis, evaluation and creation. तो अब OBE स्टेप्स क्या हुए? डिफाइन आउटकम्स, सबसे पहले सेट द बार, देन डू 3 थिंग्स: डिजाइन द curriculum, deliver instructions, document results. Documentation, as I have been emphasizing, is very very important. अच्छा, अब इतना सब तो कर लिया, ये तो हुआ मेजरमेंट. अब डिटरमिन एडवांसमेंट, बिकॉज इफ यू हैव मेजर्ड यू मस्ट कंट्रोल इट, है ना. तो ये ओबी स्टेप्स हैं. डिफाइन आउटकम्स, डिजाइन करिकुलम, डिलीवर इंस्ट्रक्शंस, डॉक्यूमेंट रिजल्ट्स, डिटरमिन एडवांसमेंट, है ना. अब देखिए नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे आपको थोड़ा शॉक लगेगा, लेकिन घबराइए नहीं. आई एम विद यू, आई विल ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन इट इन द सिंपलेस्ट पॉसिबल टर्म्स. थोड़ा सा आपका ध्यान चाहिए, अटेंशन चाहिए मुझे. इफ यू पे योर अटेंशन, this is a very good diagram. This diagram explains assessment, this diagram explains advancement, both. तो थोड़ा सा मेरा साथ दे दीजिए बस. How do you assess the learning outcomes? मैंने आपको बताया था, देखिए pyramid में, कि assessment goes from bottom to up. तो सबसे पहले हमको CO evaluation करना पड़ेगा. CO कैसे evaluate होगा? Two components will be there. एक होगा direct component और एक होगा indirect component. Direct component of CO evaluation will come from the results. Unit 1, CO1, Unit 1 के जितने क्वेश्चंस हैं उसमें बच्चों ने कितने मार्क्स ऑन एन एवरेज स्कोर किए. सपोज यू आस्क क्वेश्चंस वर्थ 20 मार्क्स फ्रॉम यूनिट 1, तो इसका मतलब CO1 is graded out of 20. Now what is the average marks scored out of 20? Suppose the average marks scored are 14. तो वो डायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट हो गया CO1 का. ऐसे ही CO2 के क्वेश्चंस में व्हाट इज द एवरेज मार्क्स स्कोर्ड, वो हो जाएगा CO2 का इवैल्यूएशन. ऐसे CO3, CO4, CO5 जितने CO हैं उस CO के क्वेश्चन में कितने मार्क्स स्कोर किए, ये डायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट हुआ. फिर इनडायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट कम्स फ्रॉम द फीडबैक. आस्क द स्टूडेंट्स, what do you think you got, how much do you think you have got CO1 in you, how much you have got CO2, how much you have got CO3. बच्चों से पूछिए. कोई कहेगा 70% आ गया मेरे अंदर CO1, कोई कहेगा 75%, somebody might say 80%. Take the average of the whole class. That is the indirect component for CO1. Now combine the direct component and indirect component in a certain ratio. Maybe 70% direct, 30% indirect, or 75% direct, 30%, 25% indirect, or 80 direct, 20 indirect. अब आप सोच रहे होंगे ये कहां से 70, 30, 75, 25, 80, 20 कहां से आ गया. देखिए बात ये है कि जो भी है, you have to declare the rule of the game before the game begins. जो भी आप रखिए, you are free to, but declare it beforehand. कि हम फीडबैक को 30% वेटेज देंगे और रिजल्ट को हम 70% वेटेज देंगे. बाद में मत चेंज कीजिए कि अरे रिजल्ट आ जाएगा तब देख लेंगे, रिजल्ट अच्छा आएगा तो डायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट बढ़ा देंगे, रिजल्ट खराब होगा तो डायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट कम कर. नो, यू डोंट हैव टू चेंज द गोल पोस्ट लेटर, है ना. तो ये डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट को इन अ सर्टेन रेशियो इफ यू ज्वाइन, दैट बिकम्स द CO इवैल्यूएशन. अब जो CO इवैल्यूएशन हुआ है, दैट बिकम्स द डायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट फॉर PO इवैल्यूएशन. ये डायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट हो गया. वो CO1 जिस PO में मैप है उस PO का ये डायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट आ गया. इनडायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट कहां से आएगा? आस्क द अलुमनाई. आपने हमारे से ग्रेजुएट किया है, how much do you think you've got PO1 in you, PO2 in you, PO3 in you and so on. और एग्जिट ग्रेजुएट फीडबैक, यानी जो स्टूडेंट ग्रेजुएट कर रहे हैं एट द टाइम ऑफ ग्रेजुएशन, आस्क देम how much do you think you've got PO1 in you, PO2 एवरेज ले लीजिए. Again combine the direct component in an indirect component in a predefined ratio, 70, 30, 75, 25, 80, 20, whatever. जो PO इवैल्यूएशन हुआ वो इनडायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट बन गया PEO इवैल्यूएशन का. ठीक, उसका इनडायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट कहां से आएगा? एम्प्लॉयर से पूछिए. आज से 5 साल पहले हमारे यहाँ से वो ग्रेजुएट पढ़ के गया था. हाउ हैज ही सेल्फ डेवलप्ड? इज ही अ गुड मैनेजर? कोई एकेडमिक्स में गया है तो आस्क इज ही अ गुड टीचर? इफ ही इज रनिंग अ बिजनेस, आस्क द पीपल ही इज डीलिंग विद, इज ही अ गुड बिजनेसमैन, है ना. और एलुमनाई सर्वे, यहां पर ये जो एलुमनाई सर्वे दैट विल बी टेकन ओनली फॉर द सीनियर एलुमनाई. Alumni survey for PO evaluation will include all alumni, but alumni survey for PE evaluation will have only the senior alumni who must have graduated at least 5 years ago. है ना? यही ट्रेंड कंटिन्यू करेगा. PEO evaluation will become the direct component for mission. Mission का evaluation will become the direct component of vision. Indirect component stakeholder से feedback लीजिए, है ना? जो भी आपकी बॉडी ट्रस्ट मैनेजमेंट है उससे पूछिए, गवर्नमेंट में पूछिए, है ना? यू डिसाइड वेयर यू हैव टू टेक द इनडायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट फ्रॉम. तो ये पूरा प्रोसेस हुआ असेसमेंट का, है ना, जो बॉटम से अप जा रहा है. सीओ से पीओ, पीओ से पीईओ, फिर मिशन, देन विजन. अब यहीं पर बात खत्म कर दी तो बात अधूरी रह गई. मेजर तो कर लिया, कंट्रोल नहीं किया. तो अब कंट्रोल कैसे होगा? जो आपका इवैल्यूएटेड सीओ है उसको कंपेयर कीजिए टारगेट सीओ से. बार से कितना नीचे रह गया, इसीलिए देखिए यहां पर डिफरेंस है, प्लस माइनस कितना डिफरेंस है. यहां पे तो प्लस प्लस था, डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्ट कंपोनेंट को आप ऐड कर रहे थे इन अ सर्टेन रेशियो, है ना. यहां पर प्लस माइनस है, डिफरेंस. हाउ मच यू हैव फॉलन शॉर्ट ऑफ द टारगेट सीओ. ऐसे ही अचीव्ड पीओ एंड टारगेट पीओ, व्हाट इज द शॉर्टेज? अचीव्ड पीईओ एंड टारगेट पीईओ, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? इन सारे डिफरेंसेस को ऐड कीजिए, इंप्रूवमेंट प्रपोज कीजिए, एंड ओबीई एडमिन विल डू दैट. द नेक्स्ट टाइम यू रन द सेम प्रोग्राम दैट विल बी अ बेटर प्रोग्राम. हमने यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल ले ली थी पीई इन ट्रिपल ई. जरूरी नहीं है आप कहिए बीए इन हिस्ट्री, एमएससी इन केमिस्ट्री. जो आपका प्रोग्राम है वो आप ले लीजिए. नेक्स्ट टाइम जब आप इसको करेंगे रन, तो आपका ये जो डिफरेंस है बिटवीन टारगेट सीओ एंड अचीव्ड सीओ विल नैरो डाउन. फिर थर्ड टाइम इट विल नैरो डाउन फर्दर, क्योंकि आप इंप्रूव करते जा रहे हैं. अ टाइम वुड कम व्हेन यू विल रीच द टारगेट. तब क्या करें? तब बार को रेस कर दीजिए, ऊपर बढ़ा दीजिए. यही तो होता है ना, हाई जंप कर ली तो बार और ऊपर करो, वेट उठा लिया तो और आधा आधा किलो वेट ऐड कर दो, है ना. सो दैट इज अ कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस. असेसमेंट करिए और इवैल्यूएट और इंप्रूव कीजिए, असेस कीजिए, इंप्रूव कीजिए, असेस कीजिए, इंप्रूव कीजिए. दैट इज अ कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट प्रोसेस. याद है जब हम डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एग्रेशन की बात कर रहे थे, तो मिनिमल मॉडल डज नॉट इनकरेज कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट. उसको हमें डू अवे करना है, उसको हमें खत्म करना है आउटकम बेस्ड एजुकेशन में. तो ये कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट है. अब यही समरी है जो मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन कर दी. Indirect assessment tools may be many more. Course outcome feedback, exit student feedback, alumni feedback, industry से feedback लीजिए. Feedback could be for the vocational or summer training and internship or for the jobs, है ना. Summer training का अलग लीजिए, job का अलग लीजिए. Likewise, internationally or nationally normed examinations, GATE, NET, CAT, GRE, IELTS, TOEFL, all these can be taken as the indirect assessment tool, है ना. You decide. Whatever you decide, you declare it. ये नहीं कि इस साल गेट स्कोर अच्छा आया तो हम इंक्लूड कर लेंगे, नहीं अच्छा आएगा तो छोड़ देंगे. नहीं, पहले रूल ऑफ द गेम डिफाइन कर लीजिए. अच्छा, अब इवैल्यूएशन फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट. इम्प्रूवमेंट कैसे हो? देखिए यही वाली जो फिगर थी उसके अंदर ये जो प्रोपोज्ड इम्प्रूवमेंट था ना, ये वाला, ये जो प्रोपोज्ड इम्प्रूवमेंट था, ये इम्प्रूवमेंट कैसे हो, उसके लिए 3 डायमेंशनल अप्रोच है. रिजल्ट ऑफ असेसमेंट इज यूज्ड फॉर, एक डायमेंशन है क्यूरिकुलम इंप्रूव कर लीजिए, दूसरी डायमेंशन है कि कोर्स डिलीवरी एंड असेसमेंट इंप्रूव कीजिए, तीसरा यह है कि रिवाइज और रीडिफाइन दी पीओस. बार इतने ऊपर सेट कर दिए, पहुंच ही नहीं पा रहे हैं तो नीचे कर लो ताकि डिप्रेशन ना हो, डिजेक्शन ना हो. और पहुंच गए हैं तो उसको ऊपर बढ़ा दो, है ना. तो 3 डायमेंशनल अप्रोच हैज टू बी टेकन फॉर इंप्रूवमेंट. करिकुलम इंप्रूव कीजिए, कोर्स डिलीवरी एंड असेसमेंट इंप्रूव कीजिए, या रिवाइज रीडिफाइन दी पीओस, है ना. अब ये ओबीई फ्रेमवर्क हुआ. देखिए इसमें कलर कोडेड है. ये ऊपर वाला है इंस्टीट्यूट लेवल, जिसके अंदर विजन मिशन आ गया. मिडिल वन इज प्रोग्राम लेवल जिसके अंदर पीओ पीईओ आ गए, और ये है कोर्स लेवल जिसमें सीओ आ गए। अब देखिए यहाँ पे कंटिन्यूअस है, ये असेसमेंट हुआ और ये इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ, ये असेसमेंट हुआ, ये इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ, है ना। और उसमें इंडस्ट्री एंड प्रोफेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का भी इनपुट फीडबैक लीजिए। तो ये ओबीई फ्रेमवर्क है। वैलिडेशन क्राइटेरिया दैट में कीप ऑन गोइंग अप एंड डाउन, इसमें मैं टाइम नहीं। हाँ, अब प्रोसेस फॉर रीडिफाइनिंग ऑफ पीओस, है ना, 3 डायमेंशन बताया ना, कि या तो करिकुलम इंप्रूव कर लीजिए, या तो करिकुलम इंप्रूव कर लीजिए, या कोर्स डिलीवरी असेसमेंट इंप्रूव कीजिए, या रिवाइज रीडिफाइन द पीओस। तो अब रिवाइज रीडिफाइन पीओस का क्या तरीका? टेक एलुमनाई सर्वे, ग्रेजुएट सर्वे, इंडस्ट्री, प्रोग्राम कोऑर्डिनेटर, मॉड्यूल कोऑर्डिनेटर, पीओस असेसमेंट, फैकल्टी व्यूज। इज देयर अ नीड फॉर रीडिफाइनिंग पीओस? यस। क्यूरिकुलम में करना है तो बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज विल डू, डिलीवरी मेथड्स में करना है तो मॉड्यूल कोऑर्डिनेटर विल डू, और प्रोग्राम असेसमेंट कमिटी, अगर पीओ चेंज करना है तो प्रोग्राम असेसमेंट कमिटी विल डू, और डिपार्टमेंट एडवाइजरी बोर्ड विल अप्रूव फाइनली। So this is the process for redefining of POs. When to assess program educational objectives? Few years after graduation, 4 to 5 years. Program outcome at the time of graduation, and course outcome upon the completion of every course in every semester. है ना? Redefining process of PEOs is very similar to that of POs. Alumni survey, graduate survey, industry, program coordinator, module coordinator, PEOs assessment, faculty views. Is there a need for redefining POs? Curriculum change करना है तो board of studies में जाइए, regulations change करने academic council में जाइए, and PEOs, if they have to be changed, go to the program assessment committee, and finally to be accepted by the department advisory board. So that completes my discussion. Thank you very much for your patient listening. I'll take questions now. If you have any questions, let me know. Yes, you can unmute if you have to ask any question, or you have to comment, or you have to suggest anything. I can take your questions now.
Any questions? No questions.
क्वेश्चंस ना पूछने की 2 वजह हो सकती हैं, या तो सब समझ में आ गया या कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, राइट? सो आई डोंट नो व्हिच केस इज दिस। या तो आपके समझ में कुछ नहीं आया या सब समझ में आ गया, दैट्स व्हाई यू आर नॉट आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस। चलिए, so if there are no questions, I'll take your leave now. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you today. As we conclude this wonderful session, I, Nidhi Chaudhary, on behalf of UGC, MMTTC, AMU, and Vivek College of Education, Bijnor, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to you for being express your session. Today's session has been a remarkable experience filled with inspiring discussion and valuable insight. I am very grateful to Professor M.M. Sufiyan Beg, Principal of ZH College of Engineering and Technology, Aligarh Muslim University, to make this event truly special. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. No words for today's session. It's very wonderful session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll take your leave now. All the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.